What's going on, everyone? Jack here from Half Chrome, and this is the DJI Mini 5 Pro, and it's a fantastic drone, probably the best mini drone you can get. But this video isn't talking about what makes this thing great, but rather I have a list of 10 gripes that I think would make this a better drone if we could address them. Now, some of these things are quick and easy fixes, some of them are out of DJI's control, and some of them would take a little bit of time, but I think these are things that you should be aware of or things you should consider before you buy this Mini 5 Pro. So again, I want to iterate, I like this drone. It is a great drone. It is the best mini drone I've ever flown. But that doesn't mean it's perfect. And I want to talk about those things that I think should be a little bit better, starting with the weight, right? This is supposed to be a mini drone. It is supposed to be under 250 grams, but it just isn't. I haven't seen a model released out there that is sub 250, and you know, it's plus or minus 4 grams, but I don't know. I don't know how stringent the regulations are in your country, or to be honest, I don't know how stringent they are in the United States, because nobody says, like, do we have that 4 gram, 5 gram leeway? I don't know. But it is kind of disappointing that it came in a little bit chunky. My second point, not DJI's fault, but you can't get this thing in the United States. If you're not in the United States, hey, good for you. Yeah, just go ahead and buy one. But if you want one in the United States, you gotta jump through some hoops. I got mine on eBay. I found a reputable eBay seller that had a reputation for selling these things, and it shipped out of South Korea. Now, I had to pay a little bit extra to get this thing shipped to me. There are tariffs involved. So all in all, this thing cost me about $1,200 for the Fly More combo. It's a little bit of an uptick and probably what it would have cost me had I just been able to go to Amazon or buy it from DJI Direct, but that's not DJI's fault. Let's move on to number 3. Okay, this camera is awesome. This 1-inch sensor, fantastic, it's great. And one of the things they say is they bumped it up from 48 megapixels to 50. But have they really? It's that quad bear technology, right? It's pixel binning. I don't know exactly what it is, but when you look at the 12 megapixel photo versus the 50 megapixel photo, it's not vastly different. Maybe it's a tiny bit better, but it's not more than 4 times as good. You're not really getting that improved resolution that you think you should when you're taking 50 megapixel photos. So is it gimmicky? Yeah, more than anything else. Okay, so my next issue is something that I was able to resolve, but I want to tell you about it in case you have this issue and then how you can fix it. My return to home accuracy, right? If I hit the automatic return to home, I did it a handful of times and it just wasn't coming back to where it started. And that was problematic. And actually, even landing at night, just straight up landing, was also problematic. It just wouldn't land. I got a video of it happening. It's just kind of bouncing off the ground. The light was turning off and on. I'll talk about the light here in a second. So if you're having these issues, I think a firmware update might help, but also just do a manual recalibration. Recalibrate your drone, and that seemed to help. My last return to home right after recalibration was much better. So the return to home accuracy could be improved, I think, with some firmware, but also just make sure you're calibrating your drone, recalibrating that GPS, and giving it just the best possible scenario to do that landing. So I talk about the night light. It was turning off and on. I don't quite understand. I had it set to automatic. Yes, I can manually program a button to turn off and on, but it was darkish. Why wasn't it just turning on? That was goofy. But here's another thing. It's on the bottom, which is great for landing. Why do we not have one on the top of the drone for safety purposes when flying at night? In order to fly any drone legally at night, you need a light on top that can be seen and strobe for 3 miles. Now, I know we're dealing with grams here and there, but every single DJI drone should have that light. Every single drone should have that light right here on top. It's just an added safety feature, and we only turn on at night. That would be great. It's not going to add a ton of weight. LEDs are cheap and light and easy to install. All right, let's talk obstacle avoidance. We've got 4 cameras here. We've got LiDAR here in the front. We even have some cameras and sensors on the bottom. And the truth is, it's okay. It's not great. Actually, the first time I had this thing out following me in daytime, it actually hit a tree and crashed. Now, it's okay. It didn't break anything, although I did lose a lens cover right there. So that was disappointing. But one, you can't rely on obstacle avoidance. And two, it just does a really poor job with anything on the side or anything behind it. It could be better. I don't use my DJI drones for following situations. It just doesn't do a great job. The Skydio, which is years old and has the world's, and the camera is clearly inferior, does a much better job. In fact, if you see following footage in any of my e-bike videos, I'm probably using a Skydio, or sometimes I chase with the Avata, or Avata 2 actually. But the obstacle avoidance needs to be better. It just does. We just haven't caught up to Skydio yet. It's kind of disappointing. The next gripe is specs, right? They say this has a 36-minute flight time. I tested it. I got a little over 23, close to 24 minutes of flight before it said, hey, we should probably land. And while that didn't run the battery to zero, had I run the battery to zero, that probably would have been like 27, 28 minutes. That is not 36. It's actually not really even close. I got better results with my other DJI drones. This guy is definitely over-spec'd. And why? Like, what's the purpose of lying about your battery? Do we have to make it sound better every time? I guess maybe that's their plan, but how about just give us better battery life? I guess maybe it could do a better job in other situations. It just doesn't seem like this thing is more power hungry. We've got the LiDAR, we've got the bigger camera, we got the bigger sensor, we got all sorts of things going on. The battery is larger, but yeah, we're not getting that flight time that they say you should. And while I'm talking about the battery, you know what they should do? Offer another option. We've got the standard battery, which puts us over 250 grams. It should have been a little bit smaller. We've got the extra large battery, which gives us up to like 50 minutes of flight. Probably not, actually, but more flight time. I'll give them that, which is nice. But why not offer a third choice, an actual lighter battery that would allow me to add prop guards to this thing and keep it actually under 250 grams? That would be fantastic, because then I could fly it over people here in the United States, and I think the rules are similar in other places. If we have a drone with propeller guards and is under 250 grams, it qualifies as a Category 1 drone, meaning you can fly it over people as long as it has remote ID. That would be fantastic. That would be actually a game changer to be able to fly over people in a safer manner and a legal manner. Why don't we have that option? That would be great. There isn't really a drone that exists like that, that was just kind of built for that purpose. The closest thing you can get is like the Mini 2, but the Japanese battery. Let's do that. That's such an easy thing, and it would sell a ton. Make that option available for the Mini 4 Pro, the Mini 3, all of the Minis. That would be fantastic. Okay, my next gripe is kind of nitpicky, but listen, we got spoiled with the Air series. We had real optical zoom, and now we're going into digital. It is nice to have digital versus nothing, but that optical zoom is so nice, right? We're not getting the quality out of the digital zoom, and that's pretty typical, and maybe I'm nitpicking, but I would love an optical zoom. And the last gripe, not something I actually care about. There's no DJI Care Refresh, not in the United States. And that goes back to the problem where you can't actually get this thing easily in the United States, and they're not going to offer Care Refresh because complications, right? So you do have other options, right? You could put this on your home policy, or sometimes when you buy it from eBay. I know Amazon does this also. You can buy an insurance package. So think about just other ways to do this, or just don't crash your drone. You got to fly a little bit extra careful, or again, consider putting this on your home policy. Anyway, this is a fantastic drone. Not perfect. Is there anything that I missed? What is it that bothers you about this drone? Let me know. Throw it in the comment down below. Good drone, could be better. Let's make it even better for the next iteration if we can get our hands on it. Now, I've got other videos on this drone, also videos on the Part 107 if that's something you're interested in. Links in the description down below. Hey, thanks for watching. Good luck, everyone, and happy flying.